Okay, so hi, I'm Mackenzie. I'm going to be interviewing you today for my interviewing class. It's just going to be watched by my professors, so feel free to disclose or withhold any information that you feel necessary. How are you today?
I am doing great.
Good. Okay, so I'm just going to ask you my questions and give you time to respond, and then afterwards I'll ask if you have any questions for me. So and this interview is about your experience as a college freshman who started during the COVID-19 pandemic. So before we start talking about your college life during the pandemic, how did your life, school, and family change when the pandemic struck the U.S.?
Well, I was off for spring break, and then that Friday we got news that school was canceled for 2 weeks. And then thankfully my school started back up sooner than the other schools in our town. So we went online as soon as those 2 weeks were up, and we were online for the rest of the semester. But we did have hopes for a while that we would be going back to school. But it's pretty difficult. Our whole schedule changed. We went A-B blocks, so instead of doing all of our classes every day, so that helped. And the teachers were pretty accommodating, but it was still a pain in the butt. So.
What was your daily at-home high school routine like once your school went online?
So my mom wanted us to get up and have breakfast and get ready for the day before school started, but that didn't happen, and our normal school started at 9 o'clock, but our online school started at 8 in the morning. I did not get out of bed. I usually just woke up, logged on, and that was it. And we did 3 classes a day, had a small break, and so we went on family walks during the break. I cried a lot, almost every day, so that was no fun.
So you just had 3 classes a day, or you had?
Yeah, 3 or 4 classes a day.
How long was your school day?
Probably from 8 until 1.
Oh wow, okay.
Or noon, I don't really remember, something like that.
And what was your high school graduation like?
We thought it was gonna get canceled, but instead it got moved to our stadium, and we could only have 2 people attend, 2 guests. So my parents came, and we were all spread out on chairs on the field. And we didn't get to shake my principal's hand, which was really sad. We took a picture though with the screen in between us. So that was wonderful. And then my grandparents and my family watched on the TV at home, and the band didn't get to come, which was a big bummer for me because the band was a big part of my school experience. So when I got home, my brother had his clarinet out, and as I walked in, they paraded me and played the song that I forgot the name, the graduation song. What is it called? I don't know. But
that's sweet.
Yeah, it was fun, and they took videos and cheered. Oh, and also my family in New Orleans got to watch, which is really cool because they would have never come to my graduation because they live so far away, and I only see them at Christmas time. But they watched, and they sent videos of them cheering for me, and their dog was barking at the TV. It was so cute. So it was fun.
Okay, so now on to college. What are you studying at Lamar?
I am in elementary education major. So.
Do you plan on continuing your education after you get your degree?
No, I'm gonna go for 4 years or however long it takes, and then I think I'm gonna be done. I mean, unless one day in the future I change my mind.
And what do you plan to do after you graduate?
I was wanting to be a second grade teacher, teaching all subjects, but I'm considering doing 4th grade reading teacher, reading and social studies.
What are your feelings, or what were your feelings about starting college amid the pandemic?
I was not excited at all because I was going to be on my own for the first time and I didn't know if I would get hooked up with any friends I do really poorly with online classes, and I knew that from my senior year. I tried to take an online class and I did really bad. So I did not want to be online at all, but my advisor signed me up for completely online classes. So I was not excited, and I didn't know. I was always worried, like, if I got COVID, where would I quarantine, and would I be able to go home, or would I be stuck here on my own in a dorm? So it was really stressful.
What kind of things were going through your head when you were preparing for college and moving in? Anything else you have to add besides what you just said?
Well, I was kind of really worried because they sent us home, like, a letter that had, like, a list of all the things that we needed to bring because of COVID, and they said, like, you have to take your temperature twice a day, and you have to log your symptoms daily, and so I just realistically didn't know how it was going to all play out, and I was also worried that they were going to send us home after only being there for a couple weeks. So it was really scary in the first semester because we were always on edge.
Were you worrying about struggling with school and social life before you came here? You kind of touched on that a little bit.
Yeah, because I came here to Lamar because my sister lives here. So I already knew a few people through her, but I didn't know if that was going to be, like, sustainable. I'm very reliant on friends keeping me going, so it was a hard start, but I had a couple friends already, so I don't know.
So you weren't as
I wasn't as
nervous.
I guess. Yeah. Well, but it was hard, like, the first 2 weeks because I didn't want to invite myself to anything, and everybody was already established in their friend groups. So for the first couple weeks, I didn't leave my room at all. I didn't go to D Hall or the set or anything, or like the laundry room, because I just didn't know how to get there or how to do things.
And so you struggled also with making acquaintances and contacts with people that were also freshmen. Were most of the sisters, your sister's friends, older?
Yeah, so my sister's friends were older, and I still am not friends with any freshmen, I don't think. And it's been a whole year, so that was kind of weird.
Tell me about your class schedule for the first semester of college. So you mentioned that you were all online.
I was online. They were all asynchronous. So basically, they just posted, like, a quiz and what pages to read in the textbook. And then I had to do it all on my own. So for the first, like, 2 months, I would just, like, stay up till 2 in the morning, hang out with people or whatever, and then I would sleep in till 1 in the afternoon and would never really get much work done, and I was just kind of in a slump because I had no motivation to get anything done because there wasn't anybody telling me, you need to get this done, or even classmates that were like, hey, did you work on this assignment? Nobody to work on anything with because I didn't know anyone.
Right.
So
how did having all online classes and not a standard schedule affect your overall attitude towards school?
I was really apathetic. I was like, I'm here, but, like, we're in the middle of a pandemic and nothing is normal, so I didn't really feel like trying or getting going. Like, I just didn't care that much. But at the same time, I was also really, like, struggling and worrying about my grades and, like, will I find the motivation to actually keep up with this? And I didn't want to lose my scholarship. So I was really stressed, but also I didn't care, which is not a good combination.
Yeah, cool balance.
Yeah.
How did this affect your mental health? Did it worsen it? Keep it the same?
It really worsened it. It was not a great time. I was struggling with self-harm and suicidal thoughts, and just not wanting to get out of bed or caring about like anything, maintaining friendships back home, didn't call my family or talk to my sister. So it was not, it was a really rough time.
Yeah. Were you concerned with lack of social interaction, specifically with online school and asynchronous classes?
I was, because we didn't even have any like group me's with all of our people in it, so nobody could help me with the work, or I just didn't know how to find people, you know. I don't know, it was I rely on other people a lot, and I had no one.
You also kind of touched on this already, but were you concerned that you would not perform as well academically?
Yeah. So my senior year of high school, the first semester, I took my first dual credit all online course, and it was asynchronous, just like last semester. And I failed the final, and I did really poorly in I just couldn't teach myself the information, so I did so bad, and so I was like, well, I'm not going to take any more online classes, and then the pandemic hit, and so it was all online, and I was like, wow, I really don't know if I'm going to be able to pass, which I have never once worried about that. I've been a straight A student my entire life, and it's always come easily to me, but since the pandemic, I've really been worrying about my grades.
And that was, you said you took the online class pre-pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so you were already aware that it was
it was
not going
right
to work
before,
for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then living in the dorms, were you ever concerned about Wi-Fi connectivity issues?
Yeah. There was a bunch of times where I was where if I did get the motivation to do work, the Wi-Fi just wasn't on. It was always off, and people were always complaining in the building group chat. They're like, is the Wi-Fi off? It was a whole lot of the time. So that made it even harder, because it was I finally logged on and then everything crashed, and so it's I should just give up now.
And then going on to the second semester, tell me about your class schedule for this semester.
So this semester was much more manageable. I only took 12 hours, same with last semester, because I dropped a class each semester. But I had 2 classes that were hybrid, so I went in person sometimes, and if not, we were over Zoom. And then 2 of my classes were completely on Zoom or Blackboard Collaborate. And then I had band, which was in person, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So how did attending classes or some classes in person or even on Zoom help or inhibit your attitude of school compared to the first semester?
It helped a whole lot, because I knew at least even if I didn't have much motivation, if I just log into the lecture, I'll get something. Even if I can't focus the whole time, because it's really hard to focus in online lectures, at least it's, I'm getting something, rather than them telling me to read a textbook that I've never even opened,
And were you able to make more contacts and acquaintances through even Zoom classes?
Yeah,
and in
so
person?
In my math class, we're on Blackboard Collaborate, so we've never even seen each other's faces, but we have really good bonds, and we're cracking jokes the whole time, through the chat. We're all like discussing and can ask questions and stuff, so that's been really helpful. And my music class, which is hybrid, I've actually made some friends, so that's cool. And it's a music for elementary teachers class, so all of them are in the same degree program that I am, so hopefully I'll have them in some of my other classes too. And I made some friends through band too, so that's been really helpful.
How has your classes, has it been mental health wise with your classes being more collaborative with others, I suppose?
It's been better. I have still had some really bad mental health days, but again, like even if I can't like get out of bed and just really not feeling into it, I can still at least log into my class, and just that initial like connection and like actually having a professor there like teaching has been helping a lot. And having them in person, I feel much worse skipping class than, as if you're online or something. So I have been more motivated to show up to class and to have interaction with humans other than my one friend.
So far in your 2 semesters, almost 2 full semesters of college, have you preferred attending classes in person, hybrid, or online?
I prefer in person for sure. Hybrid, my history class that I took this semester was optional to show up, and I ended up just not showing up, going online the whole time. So I would prefer to just not have the option to go online.
Full in person.
To be full in person, yeah. Because even the ones that are online, like it's really cool because a lot of them record their lectures and post them. But still, if I miss a lecture, I don't usually go back and watch the recordings. So.
How do you feel about the support from the school and leniency from professors during and regarding the pandemic, mental health and academically wise?
I feel like the school itself didn't help at all. My orientations and stuff were all online. I didn't get to tour. I didn't get to all the summer and beginning freshman stuff was either online or it was just canceled. So I felt like I was just dropped off here and I was on my own to figure out everything. Even figure out Blackboard and how to find the syllabi. I had to have my sister show me how to do that. I feel like I didn't have any help from that. But my professors last semester were not great, but this semester they have been really helpful. If I email them questions, they get back to me pretty quickly. I have some pretty cool teachers this semester, and some of them, I have even reached out to them and told them hey, I wasn't able to turn in the assignment that was due today because my mental health is really bad. So, but then they sent me links to resources and told me that, reassured me and just helped me get my grades back to where they needed to be.
That's good, at least.
Yeah, it was helpful.
And then lastly, was there anything that I missed that you would like to add about your experience so far?
It was just really discouraging. I found myself wishing sometimes that I had gone to the college back home, so I could be closer to family and just be more connected to an area that I know. And so it was just really hard because I moved out for the first time and didn't have many friends and didn't have, and then I was doing poorly in school too, so it was there's just no motivation for anything, and I wish I had a better support system and community. But I'm excited for the years to come, and I hope the pandemic will wrap up, and that things will, open up and get better, and I can find the community through the school that I was looking for,
Mm-hmm.
that didn't come this freshman year.
Okay, well, thank you so much for doing this interview and for letting me pick your brain. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.